Think about where you were 1 year ago. Maybe you were exhausted from holding everything together. Maybe you were replaying the same decision, the same habit, the same conversation, hoping it would magically feel different the next time. You told yourself you'd change soon, but soon kept moving further away. And still, you're here, right now, listening to this. That's not random. That's how new chapters tap us on the shoulder. Not with fireworks, but with a quiet nudge that says, hey, this can't be your forever. It starts small. A single thought that won't leave, a feeling that your life doesn't quite fit anymore. A video that lands in front of you at the exact moment you were ready to hear it. Call it the algorithm if you want. Call it coincidence. Deep down, you know better. Timing has a way of finding the willing. Life puts the message in your path when your heart is finally strong enough to carry it. So let's talk about the moments that whisper, it's time. Because the question isn't whether your life can change, it can. The question is whether you'll answer when it calls your name. Imagine this. You're standing in the doorway between two rooms. Behind you is the familiar, the routine, the patterns, the version of you who did the best they could with what they knew. In front of you is the unknown, messier, brighter, scary, honest. Most people think crossing that doorway feels graceful. It rarely does. Real change stretches you. It pulls at old beliefs. It asks you to be bigger than your excuses. That uncomfortable tug you keep feeling? That's not a mistake. That's the call. It rarely sounds like a confident trumpet. It feels like friction, like, am I making this up? Or, am I about to ruin a good thing? Or, what if I try and nothing happens? You question yourself, you start, then stop, then start again. You scroll past something that hits too close to home, and then you scroll back. That's all part of it. Change doesn't usually arrive as clarity. It arrives as curiosity that refuses to leave. Think about the last promise you made to yourself and broke. Maybe it was simple. Tonight I'll sleep on time. And there you were, midnight, then 1, then 2, still there, eyes burning, thumb scrolling, telling yourself just 5 more minutes. The next morning you were frustrated, determined that tonight would be different. And then the loop reset. Those loops are heavy, but they're also familiar. Sometimes we stay in them because they're predictable. And sometimes we only notice how exhausted we truly are when our soul is begging us to outgrow what used to be normal. There's a reason discomfort spikes right before a breakthrough. Your brain loves the known even when the known isn't good for you. So when you try to change, your mind protests. That uncomfortable middle, that's not failure. That's your old wiring unhooking itself from the wall. And here's the part we don't like to admit. When we avoid that discomfort, life doesn't punish us. It just repeats the lesson. Different faces, different jobs, different cities, same pattern, the same test dressed in new clothing. Life is patient like that. It won't fail you out of the course, it will re-enroll you until you pass. Look back at your own timeline, you can probably spot it. The red flags you rationalized, the I'll deal with it later that became a loop. The door you wouldn't open that showed up again 3 months later, a little louder. So what happens if you keep ignoring the nudge? Honestly, more of the same. Your life won't collapse them, it will calcify. The days will blur, the spark dims. You'll keep finding reasons to wait, and the years will be the ones that move, but that's not why you're here. You're here because your old life is starting to feel too tight. Like a wall you've leaned against for so long that you just noticed. It's cracking. You don't need every answer to honor that crack. You just need to stop pretending it's not there. Awareness is the beginning of your exit. And then something interesting happens. The world starts echoing your inner conversation. Little alignments show up. You hear the same phrase in a podcast, a friend's story, and a random ad. A book falls open on a sentence that reads like it was written to you. A song lyric lands with more weight than it ever has. At first you brush it off, coincidence. The third time and the fourth time, you start paying attention. That's the language of synchronicity. Life rarely sends you a map with bold red arrows. It leaves breadcrumbs. And you're the one who learns to notice them. We're trained to rationalize, We're taught not to read into things, but sometimes the mind tries so hard to be reasonable that it tunes out the frequency of your own life. If multiple signals keep pointing in the same direction, toward a conversation you've been avoiding, a habit you're ready to release, a path you're secretly excited about, listen to the data that doesn't fit in a spreadsheet. Your body, your breath, your energy when you think about it. Picture this chain of moments. You open a book and the chapter title says, "Begin Again." That evening, a friend tells you they finally left a situation that wasn't serving them and they feel lighter. The next morning, your feed shows a quote, "New life requires new choices." None of those creators coordinated with each other, but together they coordinated with you. Call it pattern recognition, call it alignment. Both are true. Your inner world shifts first, the outer world starts agreeing with it. Sometimes this awareness arrives during grief or transition, when life snaps your attention awake. Maybe you've lost someone. Maybe a season ended without asking your permission. And then slowly, small signs, stories of resilience, tools for healing, reminders that you're allowed to continue, pull you forward. The pain doesn't disappear. But it becomes the soil, not the ceiling. And then we arrive at the part almost everyone overlooks. To invite the new, you have to create space. The universe can send you signals all day, but if your hands are wrapped around what drains you, there's nowhere for the blessing to land. We love talking about starting new things. We rarely talk about ending old ones. A garden doesn't bloom because you wished for roses. It blooms because you pulled the weeds, turned the soil, watered what you planted, and gave it sun. In your life, the weeds look like this. The friend you've kept out of obligation even though every conversation leaves you tense. The routine that dulls your spirit. The career that made sense 5 years ago but doesn't make sense to your soul today. Letting go isn't easy because it has two weights. The weight of what you release and the weight of uncertainty. Our minds are wired with loss aversion. We cling to what we know even if it hurts because the cage feels safer than the open sky we haven't learned to fly in yet. But if you keep your fist closed, nothing new can be placed in your palm. Picture someone on their last day in a job they've outgrown. The goodbyes are awkward, the fear is loud, the future is unmarked. And yet beneath the nerves is a quiet exhale they haven't felt in years. That exhale is what space feels like. That exhale is what alignment sounds like. Look at nature. It doesn't argue with growth. A snake doesn't keep the skin that kept it safe last season. A tree doesn't apologize for shedding leaves that fed it for a time. Growth is honest like that. It asks you to choose truth over comfort. Not because comfort is bad, but because comfort that keeps you small stops feeling like comfort at all. So ask yourself, gently and bravely, where am I holding on because I'm afraid to not know who I'll be without it? What if the version of you you're afraid to lose is the exact version you're meant to outgrow? Here's something practical you can do tonight. Grab a piece of paper, draw 2 columns. On the left, right, keeps me stuck. On the right, right, hands-free space. In the left column, name the pattern, the habit, the relationship dynamic, the belief that keeps looping you. On the right, write the smallest act that would create space this week. Not a grand gesture, a step. Set a bedtime alarm. Put the phone in a different room. Schedule the conversation. Send the email. Change respects small repeated moves more than once in a lifetime fireworks. Then watch what aligns. Because once you make space, confirmations multiply. A mentor appears. A totally unrelated invite fits your next step exactly. You say no to something that's good and suddenly there's room for something that's right. Life has a way of rewarding clear boundaries with clearer blessings. Now I want to address the fear that whispers, what if I let go and nothing better comes? Here's the counter question. What if you don't let go and you never find out? One path hurts now, one path hurts forever. Choose the bruise that heals. This isn't about reckless leaps, it's about honest ones. You don't need to burn your life down. You need to stop pouring gasoline on what you've outgrown. You can move thoughtfully. You can keep what's true and thank what's done its job and leave what's been asking to be left. And if you're thinking, but I've tried before, good. That means you're close. The tries that didn't stick weren't wasted. They were rehearsals for the decision that will. Every failed attempt taught your nervous system how to survive the change. This time, give yourself support. Remove temptation. Ask for help. Make it boringly easy to do the right thing and unnecessarily complicated to do the wrong one. Let's talk about identity, the quiet script behind all your choices. If the old identity says, "I'm the one who always puts others first," you will find a way to abandon yourself, even when you swear you won't. If the old identity says, "I'm bad with money," you will sabotage every dollar that tries to stay. Identity is the thermostat, behavior is the air. You can open windows all day, but if the thermostat is set to old you, the room will drift back to familiar. Change the setting, not by affirmations alone, but by receipts. I am someone who honors my word becomes true when you keep one small promise today. I am someone who treats my body like a friend becomes true when you hydrate, stretch, sleep. I am someone who chooses aligned relationships becomes true when you let the draining ones fade. New identity grows from daily proof. And yes, people will notice. Some will cheer, some will be confused, a few will be threatened because the version of you they liked best was the one that made them comfortable. Remember, you're not required to stay small so others don't have to stretch. When the doubt spikes, and it will, don't ask, "What if I'm not ready?" Ask, "What is the next honest step?" Read one chapter, make one call, apply for one thing, say one boundary out loud. Trust builds in inches, not miles. Let me offer you a simple filter for decisions over the next 30 days. Does this choice move me toward the person I'm becoming or back toward the person I'm done being? Does this relationship respect my boundaries and my growth? Does this habit give me energy or borrow from my future? If I keep doing this for a year, will I be proud of where it takes me? If it's not a toward, it's a back. Choose more toward. And here's another practical tool. Replace "I have to" with "I choose to." Language matters. I have to go to the gym feels like punishment. I choose to build a strong body that carries my dreams feels like stewardship. I have to end this sounds cruel. I choose peace and honesty sounds like self-respect. Your nervous system listens to the story your words tell. And a final truth we mostly learn the hard way. Peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of alignment. When your choices match your values, the noise doesn't disappear, but it loses the power to run your life. You wake up lighter because you're not dragging around the weight of pretending anymore. So if you're hearing this and feeling that mix of fear and relief, that's your sign. Not because this video is magic, but because you are. You are the pattern breaker in your own lineage. You're the one who decided that pain can be a teacher but not a home. You're the steward of the next chapter of your life. And that chapter starts the moment you stop waiting for permission to turn the page. Claim it. Say it out loud. I'm ready to make space for the life I'm meant to live. Write it in your notes. If you want, share one thing you're releasing and one small step you're taking this week. Your words are a contract with your future. You didn't find this message by accident. The timing is right because you are ready. Not ready for perfect execution. Ready for honest beginnings. Ready to be a little clumsy and a lot sincere. Ready to carry the tiny flame of a new identity until it becomes your sunrise. Let this be the moment you stop flirting with change and start dating it. Take it to dinner, put it on your calendar, give it your mornings, defend it like something secured because it is. You are not behind. You are right on time for the you that's arriving. And when the doubts circle back, remember, you've outgrown more than once in your life. You'll do it again. The door in front of you isn't asking you to know what's on the other side. It's asking you to walk through and find out. One step, one boundary, one honest conversation, one habit that proves you mean it. Start there. Your new chapter isn't waiting in some far-off future. It's unfolding as in right now as you choose who you will be next, and I'm cheering for you.